inverses of our cube roots, which end up being cubic functions. So remember, an inverse is a reflection over the line y equals x. Remember, that's the straight line going through the origin with a slope of 1. So the inverse of our, let's just say cube, my bad, cube root is a cubic function. Oh, can't spell today. And that is y equals x to the third. That's what we mean by cubic. So remember our inverse steps. We're going to replace our f of x with y. We're going to switch our x and y, solve for y, and rewrite our y as f of -1 of x. Here's a visual representation of what we're talking about here. This one is our cubed root parent function. And when I reflect it over this y equals x, it ends up looking like this, which is the parent function of our x to the third. Let's look at this example. So rewrite x to the third, switch x equals the cubed root of y. Now we need to get y by itself. The opposite of taking the cubed root is cubing it, or raising it to the third power. If I do it to one side, I gotta do it to the other. And that gets rid of this. So we're just left with y. So we've got y by itself, and that y equals x to the third. X to the third. The inverse of the cubed root of x is x to the third. Okay, let's do another one. Y equals cubed root of x plus 2. Switch x and y. Now we need to get y by itself. Before we take the cube anything, we need to move this number because it's not underneath that cubed root. So it's being added, so let's subtract it. Now that our cube root is by itself, I can cube both sides to get rid of it. Remember, when I'm taking the cube, or even if I'm squaring one side of it and it's got an x, minus, or plus some number, we're doing that cube to both of them, but together. So I'm not going to take x to the third and 2 to the third. I'm taking that whole thing to the third. So we're going to leave it in parentheses here as x minus 2 all raised to the third power equals my y. My y is by itself. We are finished. So x, -1x equals x minus 2 to the third. And we're not going to bother multiplying all of that out right now. So that is our answer. Remember to keep that in the parentheses and don't take the cube of each thing separately. Okay, finally, y equals 3 minus 2. Switch your y and x. Okay, this time this number is underneath our cubed root, so I'm going to leave it there and cube everything. Cube both sides. So x to the third, these go away, so I'm left with what's inside, which is y minus 2. Y is not by itself. 2 is being subtracted from it, so let's do the opposite. X to the third plus 2 equals y. Now y by itself, and we are finished, and we can rewrite it of f negative 1 of x, x to the third plus 2. This time, why that 2 is not parentheses and being cubed as well is because originally it was underneath our radical, where this one, it wasn't. So it's going to be a part of our cube. All right, let me know if you have any questions.